today, twice in a row for me. Lovely to see you all again. Let's say hello. Well, I'm just saying hello to all of you. You're kind of like coming onto my screen, seeing all your lovely faces. Let's say hello. Let's say hello to our live streaming folks. So let's give them a wave. Thank you for joining us on the live stream. Thank you much to all of you beautifuls for joining us too. We are here today with the wonderful Shruthi, who you know and love, Shruthi Vishwanath. For any of you who don't know her, she's a regular host on the Daily Antidote, and I'm going to introduce her fully in a minute. But hello, Shruthi, to you. So let's just go through and welcome everybody in the room today. So hello to Erin in NYC. Thank you so much for all you do for the Daily Antidote. And to Jojo, similar. Thank you so much for all you do for the Daily Antidote. Welcome. Welcome Shruthi all the way from Delhi. Arlene in Berkeley, California. Delhi, hello. Aloysius in Massachusetts. Susan G in Cincinnati. Bob in Albany, New York, welcome. Sumila in Seattle, welcome. Kathleen in Albuquerque. Linda in Orcas Island, Sarah in Texas, Clive and Ruth in Birmingham, UK, Kathy in Colorado, Cricket and Sheila in North Florida, Gary Pousner in Massachusetts, Nancy in Washington State. I can't see her wonderful cow yet, but I'm sure it's there. Luda, hello, with your characteristic heart. And Annette in California, welcome. Lola Mystery, I love that name, welcome to you. Nancy Waters, welcome. Bob on his iPhone, hello. Sandy in North Carolina, welcome to you too. And Shruti Natarajan, I hope I've said that correctly, welcome to you too. And we have Jen Sarwin, Bob out in Massachusetts, and we have, oh, you're all shifting around. Anne in Silver Spring, Bronwyn in Victoria, welcome to you. Loriana, Kachina and Courtney, hello. I love that photo. And finally, Hoda in BC. That's all of us. How wonderful. And we are on day 1431. Amazing. Totally amazing. Here we are. Wonderful. So let's hand over in a moment to Shruthi. So I just want to tell you that Shruthi specializes in Nirguni, Bhakti and Sufi music. Her work is celebrating the intersections of her classical training and folk forms. She researches and composes and sings poems of women and other marginalized voices, and her work takes her all over India and further worldwide. So we are very excited to have you, Shruthi. Really looking forward to the song, which I believe is very ancient. So over to you.
Hey, hi everyone, and happy Women's History Month. Is it? I mean, for me, like every month is Women's History Month. Every month is Her Stories Month. But I was like, what do I pull out of the hat with like 2 days for International Women's Day? And the answer is like diving into the absolute deep end of the pool. So if you're used to like 4 feet of water, this is like, I don't know, 50 feet of water or 100 meters of the ocean. Because today we go right back to 2000 years ago, and this is part of the oldest known anthology of women's literature in the world. So there is you'll be hard pressed to find a voice that sort of comes before this, and Sappho, the Greek poet, and the Theris, who are the first Buddhist nuns, come around the same time. So we're really talking. Actually, we're talking about even further back than 2000 years, but that's kind of a ballpark figure. And this poem is part of the Therigatha, which is the verses of the Theris, the verses of the first Buddhist nuns. And this particular one is a poem by the poetess Bhadda Kundalakesa. And Bhadda Kundalakesa means the one with curly locks. And I love that description. Yeah, there you go. We have a lot of curly haired people in the room. Unite. There's I see a few of us here. So the Bhadda Kundalakesa is the one with curly locks, and I'll sort of tell you the story in a bit, but I want you to hear the verse because I feel like there's this power in the recitation of the words. This is also the first time we're possibly doing something in Pali. Now, Pali is an ancient language that was used in the compilations of the first Buddhist poetry known to us. Possibly, the theories are it may not have actually been written in Pali, but in a language that didn't have a written script, or that would have been a more local dialect. But as we know it, Bhadda Kundalakesa and the Therigatha is written in what we now call Pali, because we like to classify and we like to label. So I'm going to sing it, and I invite you to sing it with me. It really is something else, because you've been singing along with a lot of songs that I bring, and some of them are like 500 years old and 600 years old and 200 years old. This one is 2,000 years old, so it seemed, for me, it comes from a very different energetic space. So I'm just going to sing it and invite you to sing the chorus with me, and we'll improvise a little bit on the chorus, and then maybe I'll go into the verses. We'll see. lUnakesi pankadharI ekasATI carim lUnakesi pankadharI ekasATI carim lUnakesi pankadharI ekasATI carim avajje vajjamatinI vajjadassinI lUnakesi pankadharI ekasATI carim lUnakesi pankadharI ekasATI carim avajje vajjamatinI vajjadassinI lUnakesi pankadharI ekasATI carim lUnakesi pankadharI ekasATI carim avajje vajjamatinI vajjadassinI lUnakesi pankadharI ekasATI carim avajje vajjamatinI vajjadassinI lUnakesi pankadharI ekasATI carim avajje vajjamatinI vajjadassinI lUnakesi pankadharI ekasATI avajje vajjamatinI vajje vajjadassinI So this is the chorus, and I don't know if it if you could I always feel like there's something I always feel like there's 2000 years of history flowing through my veins when I sing this. It takes me to a very different space. So yeah.
Wow. So beautiful. Thank you so much, Shruti.
So I just want to, well, I'm glad to be able to share it because I mean the temptation is to share simple sing-alongs, and we can do that, and we can dive into some songs
Yeah.
that otherwise we'd never get to hear. And so I want to speak a little bit about this. I stumbled upon this text about 7 or 8 years ago, thanks to my friend Balakrishnan, who's now a PhD scholar at the University of California in Santa Cruz, I want to say, and we were just we sat with the translations of these. There are about, I'd like to say 150 poems, but I'll have to pull out my book to verify. And they're of different lengths. There are translations available. I think there are a couple of translations I can put on the chat. One by Charles Halsey, one by Susan Murcott. Both the books are by scholars based in the United States. And anyway, I sat with these texts for a while, and these were all sung poems. These are all oral histories. But what tends to happen is a lot of times the sungness of the poem, the orality of the tradition has disappeared somewhere, and it's translated beautifully. But I often believe that when it comes to some of these oral traditions, especially, and I'm speaking about the South Asian context specifically, because none of these texts were really written. The writtenness of it was done later on by scholars, but it was an experience that people sang about. And so Bala and I said, "Oh my God, we should work on this," and we researched, and there was nobody at that time who had done music to any of these poems, and they were just the Tera is which is the verses of the male nuns, the male monks are sung quite often. But as it so happens with women's histories and her stories, the women's songs, the Teri Gatha, was not sung. And I went to a couple of Buddhist departments at a university in Bombay at the Somaya College, and I said, "Hey, does anyone sing it?" And everyone said, "No, people translate it, but nobody sung it." And now the Theravadan tradition has actually moved out of India, and it's predominantly in Thailand and Sri Lanka and some of those parts of the world. And so basically the sum and substance was it wasn't sung. So with permission of some scholars, everyone said, "Hey, you must sing it." So this is a tune that Bala and I initially gave, and over the years it's morphed, and now I don't know if he sings it anymore, but I certainly do, and a lot of people in the song circle sing it, and there are many poets. But this is Bhadda. Yeah, I'm talking too much, but I really want to pack in a lot of these stories, because this particular poem and Bhadda is very interesting. What I love about Bhadda's story, and I'm going to very quickly say it. So Bhadda Kundalakesa was born to quite a rich family in what is known as Rajagaha. And one day, as a young woman, she was sitting at her window, and she saw a thief being led to his execution. and she fell in love with this guy. And she said, and she begged her father. She said, I want to marry this thief. And her father, who was a wealthy merchant, said, all right, okay, and did something, and the thief was pardoned and went off with Bhadda Kundalakesa. But they say that the thief, his nature actually hadn't changed, and so he said, "Come to a hilltop, Bhadda," and they went together to a hilltop where he tried to rob her of her jewels, and then he tried to kill her. But Bhadda realized it was coming, and she was a smart woman, and she pushed him off the cliff instead. And then she realized she couldn't return. So that's the beginning of her story. They say that initially she is actually recounting her story over here. She first converted to Jainism, which is another religion, and she says, I cut off my hair and I wandered across the land and I saw no fault where there was, and I saw faults where there were none. And then she describes her meeting with the Buddha. And they say that the moment she met the Buddha, her hair sprung into these curls, which is why she was called Bhadda Kundalakesa. And in some of the later verses, she describes the first meeting with the Buddha. She says, I stepped out and I saw the spotless Buddha surrounded by his monks. And he said, come, Bhadda. And they say that that's all it took. It took the Buddha saying, come to Bhadda for her to attain liberation and attain realization. And then she describes her travels after that. Well, I mean, it's a strange tale. For me, the first time I read it, I'm like, what? Why? And then I realized how beautiful it is that the layeredness of a woman's life and journey is celebrated.
Mm.
I mean, when do we get to hear the flaws, the sort of missteps, the screwed upness of somebody's tale, because usually we hear the nice pretty version of the tale, especially when it comes to women's stories. We don't get to hear the flaws, and the flaws are not supposed to be celebrated. So I love it that she's just stating her tale as is, and that's the verse. So my initial reaction of what is this story has actually changed over the years, and now I'm like, I need to tell this story, and I need to we need to be celebrating the complexity and the layeredness of these tales and these poetesses and these histories. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's what.
it's so wonderful. And it's like the nakedness and the rawness of just this is life. This is what we experience. It's not all one thing. We go through these dark nights and difficult things happen, and then it's dark and light together, isn't it? So I really love that as well, what you're saying about this poem that just feels very autobiographical, very honestly autobiographical. And that she met Buddha, and this was in written in for that in those times is just incredible to think of.
Yeah, and that
Beautiful,
there's
and the
so many.
melody I have to.
Sorry, go ahead, Fran.
No, no, please continue. There might be a bit of a lag between us, so go.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, and I just yeah, I love also that there are two translations in this text. One is by Susan Murcott, and one's by Charles Halsey, and both are renowned scholars. And but even a reading of these translations is just you realize the lens, like there's almost like a masculine and feminine lens. And while I don't want to make it about the binary, like just a reading of these two translations, I love that we have access to both, and I wanted to put both out. But since it's Women's History Month, I just want to put it out there because this is kind of at the heart of the work that I do, and I don't often get to bring it to the antidote because
Yeah.
the work is complex and layered. But thank you for listening today, especially.
Great, it's great. And there's a comment in the chat which I completely agree with. You're a really good storyteller, Shruti, just bringing that to life for us all, both in your voice and also, bringing that to us. Thank you. And the other thing I wanted to say was the melody you have written for that is just so beautiful. It was so beguiling, and just I could just sing that over and over. And as I sang it more, it deepens. It feels like the experience of the words comes closer. Something very mysterious. So thank you for writing that beautiful melody. I love the way it goes down in the second line. Very, very beautiful. So yeah, thank you. And I guess have you written a whole range of these ancient poems by Buddhist nuns? Have you composed for?
Well, I've composed a couple. I kind of wait for the composition to come to me,
Hmm.
and like it's almost like the poem is composing itself. I mean, I'm a little. It sounds a little eclectic, and you can be like Shruti, whatever, but
Yeah,
really,
I can go with that.
yeah, it's the poem that calls out to be sung. And Bhadda came like this, um, when especially when Bala and I were sitting together, the and the melody. So I have to confess, there are five verses. I think I've only found the melody for three, and it's been 8 years. The last two haven't come yet.
Ah,
I'm hoping they will, but I'm just putting it out there in as many places as possible because maybe Bhadda is just waiting.
wait
Uh,
for the time to drip feed the melody. Yeah,
to arrive.
wonderful. Well, we would love to hear it again and sing along with you, Shruti, and receive that beautiful music again if you'd like to lead us. Unless there's anything else you'd like to share with us before.
I can speak for an hour, so I think I'm going to stop speaking and we can sing. And this time I will sing the two other verses that have also come in, and we'll return back. It's actually not really a chorus structure, but I return back to lUnakesi every time. It's more linear in its story structure, but we can take some artistic liberties. Bhadda's asked me to come back to the chorus every time.
Lovely, thank you.
So this is Bhadda Kundalakesa, probably some of the earliest women's poems that we will ever sing. lUnakesi pankadharI ekasATI purecharyam avajje vajjamatinI vajjadassinI 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 lUnakesi first and the second verse. DivAvihArA nikkhamma gijjakooTamhi pabbate. DivAvihArA nikkhamma gijjakooTamhi pabbate. addasam virajam buddham bhikkusanghapurakkhatam lUnakesi pankadharI ekasATI avajje vajjamatinI vajjadassinI lUnakesi pankadharI ekasATI avajje vajjamatinI vajjadassinI lUnakesi nihacca janum vanditvA sammukhA panjalim akam nihacca janum vanditvA sammukhA panjalim akam yehi bhaddeti yehi bhaddeti yehi bhaddeti mama vajje same asupasampadA lUnakesi pankadharI ekasATI avajje vajjamatinI vajjadassinI lUnakesi pankadharI ekasATI avajje vajjamatinI vajjadassinI lUnakesi lUnakesi lUnakesi.
Thank you so much, Shruthi. Very beautiful to hear the verses, like a real contrast. I just always feel such longing when I hear you sing and other Indian singers. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much. Let's show our appreciation for Shruthi in whatever way. You can send her a wave or a heart or a kiss. So yeah, lots of appreciation for you here in the chat. Thank you so much for all you bring to us. And yeah, receive all the love from the Daily Antidote family. Ah, wonderful. I feel so in my heart after the end of this. So what a wonderful way to go into my evening, and a wonderful way for you to go into your days and your evenings. Shruthi, you can go to bed now. So it's quite late where Shruthi is. I don't know how many people know this, but it's like in the hour of 10 for Shruthi. So
It's now 11:01, so it's fun.
wow. I wish you a good night's sleep. So let's send Shruthi off with a virtual hot water bottle. Bye for now, Shruthi. Thank you so much. See you again soon. And yeah, thank you all you lovelies for joining us. Thank you for Erin and Joe for hosting us. And let's say goodbye to everybody in the room today. I look forward to being with you the next time I'm with you. So Arlene in Berkeley, California, and your wonderful tiger, goodbye to you. Susan G in Cincinnati, Linda in Orcas Island, Sarah in Texas, Kathleen in Albuquerque, Erin and Luda in Victoria. Luda in Victoria? No, Luda in Victoria, BC. Clive and Ruth in Birmingham, UK. Goodbye to Jojo. Goodbye to Annette in California. Lola in BC and in Nashville. Deborah in Kentucky and in Silver Spring. Dan Walker in Vienna, goodbye to you. Hodder in BC. Cricket, Pauline in Newcastle, UK. Linda in Concord, Massachusetts. Kathy in Colorado. Bob in Albany. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being you. Storm in Massachusetts and the Zoomiverse. Sue Miller in Seattle. Gary Pousner in Massachusetts. Aloysius in Massachusetts. Bob and Bear out in MA2. Nancy, your cow has now appeared in Washington State. Goodbye to you. Loriana, Kachina and Courtney, thank you for being with us. Bye-bye for now. Kat Cox and Ray and LMG in Connecticut. Is that Linda? Is LMG Linda? I thought, no. I wonder what someone said it yesterday. Now I was going to remember and then I've forgotten again. Fred in Silver Spring, and goodbye to you. Anna in Massachusetts. And finally, Dawn and the Curly Tom. Thank you so much, all of my live streaming people. Let's say goodbye to them.